Hello and a warm welcome to Federal special program Capital Beat. Justice Abhijeet Ganguly is the first sitting judge of a higher court to join politics by resigning from active politics. For the job seekers and the victims of the recruitment scam, he was seen as a hero in West Bengal. But his joining politics has raised questions on the judicial ethics and the code of conduct as far as the judges are concerned. Joining me now is former Chief Justice of Allahabad High Court, Justice Govind Mathur. So thank you so much for joining. We'll be talking to you about Justice Abhijeet Ganguly as well as this extension application which has been filed by the State Bank of India post the electoral bonds verdict. So I'll begin with Justice Abhijeet Ganguly. That do you consider this as some kind of a turning point when you look at the history of judicial ethics in the country?
Very good morning. Neeluji, this is not the first incident. Earlier, two Supreme Court judges, while sitting in the court, they resigned from the office and joined the politics. So this is the third incident, maybe first from a High Court judge, but earlier two Supreme Court judges, they resigned while holding the office and joined the politics. But from the day first, I believe that it is not in accordance with the ethics that is to be adhered and followed by judges. Judges holds a very high position. They are constitutional functionary. There must be a message that every individual have its own philosophy, a own way of political thinking. But when he is holding an office of a judge, he is supposed to be governed by constitution and the values of the constitution, and he must not be in contact with any political person for political reasons. In the instant matter, I have noticed that the judge concerned appears to have been in contact with the political persons while holding the office. This is highly deplorable, and the ethics and the code of conduct for judges doesn't permit for that.
Right. But as many people say, I mean, since the time he has resigned and it has come out in public that he's apparently going to join BJP, this particular incident, does it also reek of bias, some kind of an impartiality, because people now are raising questions on the judgments which he has already delivered in the past?
You see, the judgments he has delivered as a judge of Calcutta High Court, and in normal course, we believe that all judgments given by him were objectively considered, impartial. But you see, that's why I'm saying that the judges, while joining the politics, they must be aware of the fact that they are joining politics immediately after leaving the office, demitting the office by way of resignation or by way of retirement. That gives a wrong message. If he would have resigned and after a year or 2 years he would have joined the politics, that would have been a different issue. But now, first he was involved in certain matters, writing the orders contrary to the directions given by division bench, and then joining the politics. And before joining the politics, before resigning, he mentioned that yes, I am going to resign on such and such day. And then all these matters, as a matter of fact, it gives a message that he was not considering the matters objectively. It just gives a message. I'm not saying that he has not considered the matters objectively, but so far as judges are concerned, they can't be placed at par with other citizens. They hold a very high office, they bear much more responsibility, and their conduct is required to be scanned more stringently. Justice Gangopadhyay, he should have waited for some time before joining the politics.
But Justice Mathur, you're making an important point, but this particular step by Justice Ganguly, do you think that's going to open a Pandora's box where you could see, and I'm using the word could, that could be a probability where other judges will also follow the same leaf and they will think of joining politics. And their judgments while they are on duty will apparently get impacted, because they know that if they deliver their judgments in favor of a particular party, then wherever they want to get rehabilitated accordingly, then they can make a decision which party to join.
Right, you are. You are very right. This will give a message among the judges also that all right, after working as a judge, we will go somewhere else. We will have some other kind of rehabilitation. But I tell you one thing, as I just mentioned, that every person is having his own philosophy, his own political thinking, and it's not at all bad. It's not at all wrong. Earlier too, I gave you an instance of Justice Govind Mathur. He was president of the Rajasthan Jansangh. Then he remained behind the bars during emergency. He was a very senior lawyer, and then he was appointed as a judge of Rajasthan High Court, but he discharged his duties with complete integrity. And after demitting his office, he again joined politics. He remained member of parliament for 2 terms thereafter. But there is no finger pointing out that he was biased or not, or he was much more affiliated with his ideology vis-a-vis constitution. So yes, I think now in these circumstances where there is a red race for rehabilitation, post-retirement engagement, entrance in politics, this is certainly not expected from judges.
Right. But do you think that this can really set a bad precedent? And with him giving statements like, I joined BJP because I'm a proud Hindu. And, those kind of statements, people are raising questions, and it doesn't leave a very good taste in everybody's mouth.
Yes, this reflects as if while holding his office, he was working as a Hindu or as a member of a specific sect. He was much more governed than the certain other things, than the principal values of the constitution. It gives a message. May this be right or wrong, that is a different thing. But in general publics, it gives a message like this.
But how has it really dented? And do you think that Justice Ganguly's resignation from judiciary and he quitting judiciary and joining politics, will it really impact the judiciary very, very seriously?
This is a very, very serious injury to our judiciary. And from very beginning, I am of the view that there must be a constitutional bar for re-engagement of judges, and there must be some cooling time even for joining politics. It is always open for a judge to join a politics after demitting the office, but there must be some cooling time. At least 1 or 2 years must be there. A gap of 2 years must be there after demitting the office. Now, otherwise, you see if he is joining the politics, what it reflects that he must be in contact of political persons even while holding the office. This is not acceptable.
But who is going to make these guidelines? So will Chief Justice say something? Shouldn't Chief Justice say something at this point of time? Because here you have a High Court judge who has quit judiciary. Immediately he's joined a political party which is at the center. Or don't you think that Justice D.Y. Chandrachud should break his silence on this particular issue to send out a stern message to the other judges of the High Court as well as the Supreme Court?
You see, in our constitutional scheme, union judiciary and state judiciary are 2 distinct bodies. As a Chief Justice of India, Justice Chandrachud is not having any kind of disciplinary or supervisory control in administrative side on the judges of the high courts. Even on the Supreme Court judges, he is first among the equals. He is administrative head. But so far as judicial working is concerned and other activities of other high court judges, it is for all high court judges themselves to check their own conduct, to restrain themselves. And ultimately, it is for legislature to think that there must be a constitutional amendment to put a bar for post-retirement engagements and for a cooling time to join the politics. This decision is to be taken by the legislature and not by the judiciary. Yes, judiciary in its judicial side may make requests to the parliament, legislature, or some observations can be made, but ultimately it is for the legislature and a self-restraint by the judges themselves.
But Justice Mathur, is it not very, very evident and clear in case of Justice Ganguly that while he was writing the judgments, while he was delivering the judgments, he must have already been in talks with BJP, because all of a sudden, just in one day or in one night, he cannot decide that he is going to quit judiciary and join BJP. Is it not very, very evident that he has been talking to the BJP leaders, he has been in touch with some people at the center or maybe the state leadership of BJP?
Without making any remark on his judicial working, I would like to mention that yes, this gives such kind of message, and only to that your objectivity be visible also, a judge should act cautiously, and that's why I am talking for cooling time.
But so who is going to set out that deterrent, in terms of prescribing a certain guideline, prescribing a certain framework, like what you said, that there should be a mandatory cooling period, there should be a constitutional bar. You've said important things, but who is going to make the initiation? Who's going to start all this? Is it going to be the legislature or will it start from the judge's end?
You see, judges may resolve, and it is for the legislature to act upon. It is for the legislature to make constitutional amendment. It is by the parliament. And when we are talking about the constitutional amendment, then in accordance with Article 368 of the Constitution of India. So this is, and at least people must deliberate about that.
But sir, if it is working allegedly as a quid pro quo, almost it looks like, then how will the judges resolve? How will the legislature also, resolve to come with certain guidelines? Because everything looks very confusing after this particular episode as to how this judicial ethics will be brought in again post this incident.
Niluji, in our constitution, there is no role is prescribed for media. It is only the legislature, it is only the executive, and it is only the judiciary. But even then, the media has its own limitations, and then we all call media as a fourth pillar. So I think this is the right time for fourth pillar to agitate the people, to educate and agitate the people about this issue. And if there will be pressure from the public at large, then certainly the judges will resolve, the legislature will act upon. Otherwise, yes, you are very right. In present scenario, legislators are not going to act upon for imposing any kind of bar or for prescribing any cooling time. So it is your role now.
And that's why, sir, we thought of speaking to people like you who will be forthcoming in their views, and you've put it out very, very clearly. But I want to move on now from Justice Abhijeet Ganguly to the issue of the extension application, which was filed by the State Bank of India in the electoral bonds case. Now, what does this extension application really mean? Was it really needed? Or does it not raise doubts about the intentions of the government and the SBI as well?
This judgment was delivered on 15th of February.
Yes.
And in the judgment itself, it was given that on 6th of March, the State Bank of India is required to place all these data on the before the court. So Supreme Court considered it appropriate that in 21 days, all this data can be placed before the Supreme Court. Beside that, much back in the year 2019, a direction was given by the Supreme Court to maintain all accounts, a complete data of all accounts relating to electoral bonds. So it was obligatory for the State Bank of India to maintain the data. And now this application has been filed on 3rd of March. The matter is coming up before the court today itself.
Yes.
That is on 16th. Now on 4th of March, they moved an application that in fact, we have not maintained the data digitally. Certain data are in digital form, certain are in physical form, and therefore at least 3 or more than 3 months be given for producing data before this court. Now in this interim period, you will find that Lok Sabha elections are also going to take place. The Supreme Court, after considering all facts, gave it 3 weeks time, 21 days time to place these data on record. What I feel, the SBI authorities are playing intelligently just to mislead or to avoid from compliance of the directions given by the Supreme Court. This is not at all acceptable. I'm sure the Supreme Court will come with strong orders, with stringent orders against the SBI authorities. And you see, I don't find this application as a bona fide application. I find that this application has been preferred.
Right. Justice Mathur, the plea which SBI has taken, they are saying that they have maintained data in 2 separate silos and they cannot process it in 3 weeks. That's what they said. And they have to process all the data of the issued bonds and the bonds which have been redeemed. Now, do you think that Supreme Court is really going to buy this argument in an age where you have artificial intelligence, you are talking about a digital India? In times like these, is it not equivalent to bluffing Supreme Court?
Certainly. It is, you say, SBI claims itself as the one among us, the biggest bank in this entire world. And certainly it is biggest bank in this our country. Now in this era, when everything is digitalized, they are coming with the fact that yes, certain documents are digitalized, certain are not digitalized, and it will take more than 3 months time. This is absolutely nothing but bluffing the court. It is just a plea taken just to avoid compliance of the directions given by the Supreme Court.
But Justice Mathur, what would the Supreme Court do? Will it treat it as a contempt or will it give some time to SBI? What do you think will happen?
See, Supreme Court will consider this application. All right, if they a week or 10 days time, if they want, that may be given. But ultimately, Supreme Court, instead of the Supreme Court may reject this application outrightly. The Supreme Court may give some time to them. Supreme Court may also accept the request made by them to supply all these data on 30th of June or subsequent thereto. But what I feel that this is required to be placed before the Supreme Court as soon as possible. That is, at least within a week or 10 days.
No, but you're saying that the extension may be given by a week or 10 days, but not up till 30th June.
Yes, not at all. 30th of June, that is too long. Supreme Court, in presence of their lawyer, after examining all facts, they are allowed 21 days. If SBI was not in position to place these documents within this data within a period of 21 days, then at the time of pronouncement of judgment, they would have mentioned that please extend this time. Instead of 21 days, give us 100 days or whatever time they want. But at that time, they accepted. And then also, they didn't move application immediately. They came before the court only on 4th of March. This is not permissible.
But many people were saying that it also amounts to criminal conspiracy, almost like, do we go that far to think that it is a criminal conspiracy? Because it's like a cover-up exercise being done on the part of SBI, on the part of the government, but it looks very, very clear that they're trying to hide something.
So far as criminal conspiracy is concerned, I'm not aware what are the ingredients of entire incident. Today, I am aware of that an application has been filed with certain reasons. So to categorize it as a criminal conspiracy, that would be, at least I will not accept that term for this purpose. Yes, I will certainly say that a device has been adopted just to ignore the directions given by the Supreme Court. It may be an effort to disobey the directions given by Supreme Court.
Thank you so much, Justice Mathur, for joining on The Federal. And one appeal to the viewers who are watching this interview, subscribe to our channel, send us your feedback, and stay tuned to The Federal.
Subscribe to The Federal's YouTube page for more news and updates.